Good morning, everyone. I'm Dawn Rose M. Galan from Bachelor of Science in Office Administration student from Section 1E. Today, class, I'll be discussing Learning Module 6 in GA1, Understanding the Self. The topic is Unpacking the Self, Gender and Sexuality. Before I introduce the first concept, let us be familiar with our learning outcome for today's lesson. At the end of the lesson, students should be able to Number 1. Determine the difference between sex and gender. Second, distinguish the factors that influence sexual attraction. Third, examine what is expected of girls and boys in the following situation: school, household, and church. Lastly, explain how the society or culture teach you to think, feel, and act based on your gender.
Talk about sexuality. Our sexuality is part of who we are, whether we feel comfortable talking about it or not. It is undoubtedly an aspect of ourselves that the earlier we properly learn about it, the better we understand who we are. So let's define sexuality. According to World Health Organization, sexuality is a central aspect of being throughout life, which encompasses sex, gender, identities, and rules, sexual orientation, eroticism, pleasure, intimacy, and reproduction. It is experienced and expressed in thoughts, fantasies, desires, beliefs, attitude, values, behaviors, practices, rules, and relationships. The beginning of adolescence is marked by rapid physical changes, including the maturation of reproductive system and the development of primary and secondary sex characteristics. Primary sex characteristics are physical characteristics present at birth. These are the characteristics that distinguish male from female. In females, these characteristics include the vagina, uterus, and ovaries. In males, the primary sex characteristics include penis, testes or testicles, scrotum, and prostate gland. On the other hand, secondary sex characteristics develop during the onset of puberty. For women, the earliest evidences of puberty are enlargement of breast, onset of menstruation, widening of the hips, enlargement of buttock, and growth of pubic hair. Testicular growth, sperm production, appearance of facial pubic, and other body hair, and deepening of boys are some of the first signs of puberty in men. What do men and women find attractive? The inner qualities and characteristics of the individual, physical appearance of the individual. Physical appearance. The attraction may be to a person's aesthetics or movements, or that their voice or smell, among the other things. The attraction may be enhanced by a person's adornments, clothing, perfume, or style. It can be influenced by individual genetic, psychological, or cultural factors, or to other, more foremost qualities. Inner qualities. Qualities that form the foundation of all other human qualities include honesty, integrity, courage, self-awareness, and wholeheartedness. These qualities define who we are as human beings. There is no question or denying that women are just as visual as men. Women check men out. Women look and stares at men's faces, hands, abs, crotches, assess, etc., and have thoughts about parts of men's bodies that are just as naughty, if not more naughty than men do. You name it. Whatever part of a man's body, women are doing this every single time they see a man they like just like men are to women. After that, what makes the relationship last is the inner qualities and similarities as well as unique differences between two individuals that make the relationship special. For men and women, both the physical sparks the relationship and inner qualities keep the relationship moving forward when the going gets tough. Discuss what is expected of girls and boys in the following institution. In the school. In the school, this often leads to an anti-school attitude, particularly in boys, whereas girls are expected to be hardworking and do as they are. Boys, on average, are more likely to speak up during a class discussion, sometimes even if not called on, or even if they do not know ask. Boys and girls act differently at school. They tend to opt for different subject combinations and courses of study. In addition, boys tend to lag behind girls in terms of achievements. In household, girls are more responsible to do the household chores like washing the clothes and dishes, sweeping the floor, watering the plants, and more. Boys are more like want and love exploring outside the house. They are more likely want to have fun outside or just want to hang out with friends through playing online games. On the other hand, if they are told to do this, they will actually do it. Lastly, in church, girls are more committed to church. Many times, even if you can see while we are going or attending a mass, girls are more than boys. Boys going to church are also sincere and committed to God. They spend an hour listening to hear the word of God. But since globalization impacts our society, the number of attendees are not the same, and the attitude and behavior of both boys and girls change. They are more likely to be lazy and tired at all times. They feel busy because of so much time spent on social media. Let's move on to the next concept. Gender. Gender is identity refers to one's personal experience of gender or social relations. It determines how one sees himself or herself in relation to gender and sexuality. A person could identify himself or herself as masculine or feminine. Also, gender is socially learned behavior usually associated with one sex. It is a short for gender relations between the sexes or how the male and females relate to one another. Gender is also based on how people see themselves and on their tendency to act along either the masculine or feminine line. As you can see in the table below, we can see the main differences between sex and gender. Sex, on the other hand, is referred to as physiological, related to reproduction, congenital, and changing, while gender is social, cultural, learned behavior, and changes over time and varies within a culture among cultures. Due to advances in science and other social trends, one can now legally and physically change his or her gender. To end this discussion or video, here are some of the questions that I need to answer. How does your society or culture teach you to think, feel, and act based on your gender? How is it limiting? How is it liberating? We all know we all have our different perspective about the world, whether are things that our society and culture expects us to be. An example of this is our gender. A person's gender is based on how the society expects a person to act, look, and think. Furthermore, each culture also has rules and beliefs about how people should act based on their genders. Basically, a woman must act like a woman and a man must act like a man. Because of this, several gender norms and stereotypes have arisen. The first thing that the society taught me is that women must get married and have babies. Women must also know how to cook, do the laundry, and how to properly take care of children. It is really offensive that people think that apart from getting pregnant and having babies, women have no use. There are so many things that women can do, and that also includes a man's job. Additionally, I had also learned that society expects women to be caring, prim, and dress femininely. If they are not, those women will be dubbed as boyish or lesbians. Overall, these expectations are really limiting and it restricts a lot of people from showing their true personalities. Also, it is a bit suffocating because there are certain standards that you must achieve. To some, gender roles make people less effective. It is also discourages people from doing the things that they want to do because that is not what the society expects them to behave. Furthermore, I believe that we should just ignore what our society and culture dictates because these are non-obligatory and we should live our life according to will. Here are some of my articles that I read, and if you have more questions, you can message me through Facebook and Instagram. Once again, thank you and God bless you all.